Tory Robson here, chiropractor, chiropractic practice success consultant, where we want to teach you some of the mindsets and attitudes, tips and tactics to take your practice in your life farther than you ever thought you could. You are listening to the Chiro Success Podcast. I'm here live doing the intro. I got asked the other day, Tory, are you playing the guitar on your intro to the podcast? And I said, no, but I did this time. And I have a little story that goes along with it that I think is going to tie in beautifully for what we want to learn today. That's going to be so valuable for everybody, you and myself, if we want to go to another level of productivity and, of course, success in practice and in life. Now, as you know, we affirm I am optimistic, positive, excited about chiropractic and reaching people with my practice, building an exceptional life of productivity and prosperity while being very generous and filled with love and fitness and fun. Our purpose is to become smarter, more powerful, capable, and driven, and superior versions of ourselves by ever increasing our awareness, our knowledge, our understanding, our motivation, our hands-on skill, and our communication skill, as well as our mastery in the art of exceptional living. Every time you train with me, right now, you have got fantastic, wonderful, long-term, referring patients coming your way. Great new patients. You're becoming a more capable motivator and a persuader of people toward what? Higher levels of health. Of course, you're empowered to make smarter long-term decisions, and you're energized physically, mentally, and financially. Any of you know that song? Anybody recognize that song? I'm so hot for her, I'm so hot for her, I'm so hot for her, but she's so cold. I've got a few stories about that too, but I'll spare you on those today. Let me go back here to a very interesting time that sort of changed the course of my life. It was a very interesting conversation. Here's the scene. Picture this. Big seminar, ballroom, stage, big jumbo screens, lots of people, chiropractors, teams, excited, upbeat, chiropractic training awesomeness. And I invited a bunch of people over to my house afterwards. People who maybe were staying and their flight didn't leave till the next day. So I had quite a little crowd over at my house, hanging out outside by the fire pit and waterfall and, of course, the pool and the view into the distance, hanging out, talking about chiropractic. Somehow, in the crowd here, the topic of music came up and instruments. And a very influential chiropractor was sitting next to me, and she turned to me and said, "Do you play any instruments?" And I said no, because I'd never played any instruments. I'd never even really touched any, let alone played any. Had a great time, had some snacks, and everybody left. And as I shut the big front door to my house, boom, I turned and I said to myself, never again, if somebody asks me if I play an instrument, am I going to say no? And the next morning I woke up, happened to be a Sunday, and I went down to Guitar Center and I walked in and I felt like I was in a bridal store or something. There were AV equipment and drum sets and cymbals and microphones and all of this electronic equipment. I didn't know what any of it was. Gentleman came up to me and said, can I help you? And I said, I'm looking for a guitar. He says, well, what kind of guitar? And I said, I don't know, a cool looking one. Okay. And sure enough, I picked out a cool looking guitar that happened to be a Fender Stratocaster. By the way, that's what I'm holding right now. The legendary Fender Stratocaster. Made famous by who? Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Eddie Van Halen, half of every other big band you've ever heard of. I knew I was going to get one of two different styles of guitar. And there are two main styles of guitars. Now, by the way, I'm going to use this guitar thing to get back into chiropractic, so just hang with me for a few minutes here. So I roll on home with this Fender Stratocaster, and I didn't know how to take it out of the case. I didn't know how to plug it in. I didn't know how to tune it. I didn't know if I needed to tune it. Got online, found an instructor, found another instructor, 2 different instructors with separate appointments, and neither of them knows who they are, so I'm getting 2 different angles from 2 different people to hopefully like double my learning speed. And I start in with the Fender Stratocaster, and I realize how unbelievably hard this really is. Unbelievably hard. Like impossibly hard. No room for error. See, in chiropractic, you can be sloppy. Your hands can be sloppy. Your scripting can be sloppy. With a guitar, if your finger is off by a 1/2 of a millimeter, it sounds like garbage. Okay? Versus 0 room for error. There has to be absolute perfection with left hand and right hand and your ear and your timing. It's amazing. That's why instruments really are designed for kids to learn. I realize it's too late for me. Oh, Tory, it's never too late. You're not being positive. It's too late for me to get any good. It's too late. I don't have enough years, and I don't have enough time. I'm never going to be any good. But I told myself I would try. And I've had 2 to 4 or 5 guitar lessons every week for a couple years. And all I ever wanted to do was be able to play a few jingles of some songs that I recognize and participate in those songs. And that's about as good as I'm going to get, is just to be able to participate. And so I realized something here, and that is, as I, Tory the consultant, am dealing with, say, chiropractors starting in the coaching program, and let's say I've done something 400,000 times, answered certain questions, done certain reports, explained certain things to patients. I've done literally hundreds of thousands of times, and I've got a student who hasn't done it once. I'm a better coach now because I understand how you've got to use repetition and go slow and realize that there's learning that has to occur. My instructors are patient with me. They could say, Tory, I've shown you this 20 times. So I'm very careful when I deal with chiropractors and not say, hey, I've told you this 5 times. I now realize it's going to take a little work and take some time, but it will be learned and it will be really, really effective. Now you see here, I've got a sort of a funkalicious setting there, but we can turn the heat up very, very quickly. Right? Well, let me shut that down and let's focus on our material here, because my material will be better than my guitar playing. But there's a point that I've made already here, and I want to reiterate it. I told myself I would try. I bought the guitar, then I bought another guitar, bought an acoustic guitar. I'm down here at my place in Florida with the Fender that I have here. I also have quite a lovely Gibson Les Paul / Guns N' Roses special edition guitar. Call it the Big Dog. 2 main types of guitars. There's the Fender and there's the Gibson. And of course there's many other guitars. But I told myself I would try. You bought the things, Tory. You're going to try and you're going to follow through. I could have easily quit. What am I doing learning guitar at my station in my position in life? Well, I told myself I would try, and I will not give up on myself, even if it's a recreational thing like guitar. In fact, many chiropractors, if they just put the same effort into their office in many ways, it would be outstanding. Don't start things you aren't going to finish. Do you finish what you start? Do you say, I'm going to go and do this, and then you don't follow through and do it, and 2 weeks later people go, I thought you were doing this. We make good decisions, long-term decisions about what we're going to implement and what we're going to do, and we want to be the type of person that follows through. I'm going to keep my guitar lessons every week. I'm going to continue to learn very, very slowly, while some 9-year-old can shred on the guitar. Here I am, grinding. But I told myself I would try. And so we start to turn this conversation now to you. We turn it back to chiropractic. Repetition is the key. Repetition is the key, and repetition is what nobody wants to do. Why is it that the stuff that we don't want to do, the stuff that we want to give up on quickest, why is it that the stuff that's the most difficult, why is it that the things that are the hardest mentally, many times the hardest physically, of course, those are the things we don't want to do. Observe. Vince Lombardi said, we're going to practice football plays, as he was the coach of the Green Bay Packers. We're going to practice plays to the point of drudgery. Over and over and over and over and over again. Because he knew in a big game, when everybody is tired and the game is on the line and there's mental and physical fatigue, that deep-rooted memorization burned into the subconscious mind will emerge victorious as other teams who did not practice to the point of drudgery will fail and forget and make mistakes because they did not practice hard enough and long enough to get it ingrained to the point of unconscious excellence. What we need to do versus what we want to do. Recently, I was at the Miami Air and Sea Show. They actually wanted me to do some displays with my boat doing high-speed flybys for 1 million people on the beach. But I was there to see the jets fly over. And before that happened, and many of you have been to these air shows, there were a bunch of people parachuting, like the Army, Golden Knights or whatever they are, parachute folk. And they would parachute. And I was talking to one of them, and in their training, they have to do 10 jumps a day. Get the parachute and the equipment ready, fly up in a plane, jump out of the plane, land, put everything back together, set it up exactly again with the exact same protocol, go up in the plane and jump, land, get everything put together, reestablish, go through the protocol and the checklist, go back up in the plane and jump again. And they still have 7 jumps to go for the day. And you'll see these people standing there and they've done 2,100 jumps. That's a lot of jumps. Training to the point of drudgery. So when they have to jump out of a plane, and it's at night, and it's in high wind, and they're not quite sure what kind of terrain they may be landing on, they've done it so many times, they can do it in their sleep. Their hands and their motions and their eyes and their feel is so precise and so automatic, there's like no way they can screw it up. That's the whole goal. We practice the football plays so much, you can't even screw them up even if you're super tired and beat up and you can only see out of one eye and your wrist is smashed and you can only use one arm. You trained it so hard for so long, it's just automatic now. Look at a great gymnast. They have to do the routine. You talk about drudgery, practicing a routine for 4 years so you can perform for one event that might take seconds or certainly just a few minutes. The recipe used for food in your favorite restaurants. Imagine how many times a performer has to practice singing a song before they do it in front of 20,000 people at the American Airlines Center. Imagine how many times a guitar player has practiced before they perform in front of people for money. Now notice this. Here's a key point. With the people jumping out of the planes, see, they wake up and they have to do it. They're being paid to do it. They're in trouble if they don't do it. They don't have a choice. They have to do it. If I show up for gymnastics practice, I have coaches that make me do it. Do it again. Do it again. Nope, do it again. Right? I may have a person who owns the restaurant who says, nope, make it again. Nope, make it again. Nope, I don't like it. Too spicy. Make it again. You have a football coach. Nope, run the play again. Yeah, but I did it right 3 times. Do it right 10 times and maybe we'll get out of here. Someone who's cracking the whip. And then the chiropractor has no such accountability, and so many chiropractors just wing it because nobody made them practice their scripting and their procedures to the point of absolute excellence. And you know this is true. Or as Steven Tyler would say, speaking of rock band stardom, oh, you know it's true, baby. In his Steven Tyler, I've performed in front of 800 million people legendary voice. Just think about this. He had hit songs, okay, in like 1972. You believe that? 82, 92, 2002, 2012, 2022. He's still looking good and can still sing as well as ever. It's amazing. So there are certain things, if we want to have an incredible office, that we must practice voluntarily. There's the key word. First key word here was drudgery. Actually, the first key word was repetition. Next key word was drudgery. Okay? They tie together here, don't they? Repetition, drudgery, and volunteer. You have to just volunteer to do it. There's no one around you cracking the whip saying, oh, let's practice this again. Nope, your handshake was too weak. Nope, your eye contact wasn't good enough. Nope, okay, that was too fast. Nope, you didn't say the right words. Nope, I'm not quite sure where you're coming from. Nope, that wasn't right. Nope, do it again. There's none of that. It's just graduate and you can go out and just start doing whatever your thing is without really having been forced to go through and practice every single play with incredible repetition to the point where it is so good that when a patient comes in, they have to sign up. You have every counter response that's required. You have all your footsteps, all the movement of your hands, all of your handouts. Everything is done down to a pure, flowing, sequence of awesomeness. So here we have to volunteer, and people do not naturally volunteer to practice anything to the point of drudgery. Almost nobody can do that. We mentally bail out quickly, and we wing it. Now notice, with music, we can tell if it sounds right, and believe me, I can play a lot of stuff, and you would say that doesn't sound very good, but I try. You could eat certain things and go, that doesn't taste that good. You could watch a gymnastics routine and say, she fell off the beam. Or he didn't quite get that all the way around and he sort of landed sideways. Or a football play where the quarterback throws the ball and there's no receiver there. Play wasn't executed very well.
and hopefully a person jumps and they didn't pack their parachute incorrectly. So here we are. We have to volunteer to practice what we need to practice to the point where it is actually awesome. Okay? That's why they call a practice practice. But we want to do some practicing outside of working on people. We want it to be good. Now, in a chiropractic practice, what has to be excellent? Well, we have several different key components here that I want to go over. The first thing that has to be incredible is the office tour by the CA. This tour needs to be scripted perfectly because that person can say things that will cause the patient to believe things that will save you a lot of work. For example, the purpose of the tour, one, is to show people and tell them where the bathroom is, okay? And to tell them what to think about what they see, because they don't know what to think about it, and you cannot let them draw their own conclusions. For example, Jennifer, come on back with me. Now, just so you know, the bathroom is right around the corner there. These over here are our inner segmental traction tables, which everybody loves. And then back over here are our spinal decompression tables, which people love even more. Now, we're going to be right here. Go ahead and have a seat. The doctor will be right in just a minute. I know she's looking forward to meeting you. You have any idea how much just got done right there? Saw the equipment, looked kind of scary, but was told that everybody loves it. Now I love it, and I haven't even been on it. Other equipment that could look scary, and everybody loves that even more. Now I already anticipate that I'm going to like it, even though I've never been on it. And I've been acknowledged that the doctor's looking forward to seeing me versus just, he'll be right in. He's looking forward to meeting you. He'll be right in. See the difference? See how the scripting is critical versus just, come on back here, the bathroom's around the corner in case you need it. Okay, have a seat right here. She'll be right with you. See, that's winging it. Versus, Brian, come on back. I know Dr. Tory's really looking forward to meeting you. Now, the bathroom is right around the corner. And as we go back, you see here, these are our inner segmental traction tables, which everybody loves. And then around here are our spinal decompression tables, which people love even more. Now go ahead and have a seat. Dr. Tory will be right in. There we are. So that is just one of several that you have to have down, because then when I walk in as the doctor, I already know they've been told about the equipment. They've been told what to think about it. They already have a positive opinion versus, what's that person doing there? That looks like it hurts. You cannot let patients draw their own conclusions. They don't know what to think about things. You have to tell them what to think about things whenever possible. Then, of course, we have the consult. And as you might imagine here at Winner's Edge, by the way, are you a member here? Love to see you be a part of the group. Love to train and learn. Remember now, it is not expensive to learn how to do things better. Is it worth $1,000 in a month to learn how to collect $10,000 more? Let's see, pay 1, get 10. How about pay 1, get 20? We have people that paid 1 and now they get 50 more. Actually, I've got people that paid 1 and they get 80,000 more per month. The typical return in Winner's Edge is like 1,000 to 8,000% return. Love to meet you. Love to hang out with you and train and learn from you. We want to learn from you too. Speaking of learning, we're talking about the repetition to the point of drudgery. We have to volunteer to do it for that consultation. That's got to be practiced beautifully. The handoff from CA to doctor. And ideally, once that door shuts and the CA has that new patient in position in a very specific spot, And by the way, you have very specific things in front of their face. There are certain posters you have. There are certain plaques that we have in Winner's Edge that are unbelievably powerful, that are positioned in front of the patient's face, so they have to see them while they're waiting for you. And they will see them and they will draw incredible conclusions about you. That's more high-level Winner's Edge secret stuff that we'd love to see you learn. But then the doctor's got to boom in with the correct handshake. There's a very specific way to do this. The hand position, what's happening with your eyes, and then how you sit and the pace at which you sit, what you sit on, and the height that you sit. None of this is to chance. Just like packing the parachute is not just willy-nilly. It's done a very specific way. It has to be for maximum performance. In, left hand, right hand handshake. Okay, eye contact, looking at their right eye, warm smile, head tilt of about 5 degrees. You sit and your rear end lands at the same time theirs does. If they stood up many times, they won't. And then the very first words out of your mouth, okay, are thank you, are a referral line, are something very, very kind to set a nice tone. Well, Sherry, we want to thank Bill for referring you here. He's a great patient. He's done well, and he sent in practically all of his family and friends. Okay? So we have the scripting. It's going to be what if they came from social media? Well, most of our people are referred here, but we're glad you found us online. There has to be that line first. Not, hey, what's bugging you? Okay? Protocol, we do A, B, C, D, E. And then we have a person that signs up for care and is a good long-term referring patient because you did not miss a bunch of steps. You didn't wing it and get wing it results that blow apart the second the patient is under any stress or has anything that can lure them away. All right? Quick story here that ties in. My best friend from college, his dad was an architect. He was a very influential person in my life, and that's a story for another day. But my friend was telling me a story about his dad designing some intricate brickwork on a house, in particular, the chimneys on the roof. And he says to me that this mason, this bricklayer, top-notch bricklayer, building higher-end houses, was looking at the drawing and said, we can't do that. And my buddy's architect dad friend says, what do you mean you can't do that? We don't know how to do that. That what you drew, we don't know how to do that. What do you mean you don't know how to do that? Well, we don't even think it can be done. These twisting brick chimneys. And he goes, what are you talking about? And the architect says, listen, I'm going to give you a plan. And you're going to do A, and then B, and then C, and then D. And when you're all done, it's going to look just like that drawing. And sure enough, you can take your car or boat and drive by their house on the beautiful Coeur d'Alene Lake and see the incredible twisting brick chimneys in their stone castle that they built for their family. If you follow me and you learn how to do A, incredible tour, incredible consult, B, incredible way you explain chiropractic, C, incredible exam, D, incredible at explaining why we take x-rays, critical wording there, of which we have all of it, E, the taking of the x-rays, and then F, the Winner's Edge Insta report, and then the segue into introducing them to chiropractic care in your office, then of course the plan and the payment arrangement, you will have a patient that signs up for care. 7, 8, 9, 10 times out of 10. Okay? But notice, it requires a plan. You can't just say, here, do this, and have the masons go out there and somehow they just build these twisting chimneys. They need a plan. And you need a plan. We are the place you go for the plan. You got the skill. You've got the talent. But it's the ability to learn. To learn a better way, to learn better words to say. Say the words better. Say better words, say them better. Now, if I were going to say here, and someone were to ask, and people do ask, Tory, what's the fastest way to grow a practice? I need more new ones. First thing, dress better. And we know exactly how to dress. We have that all down to an absolute science. Exactly what men and women should wear in a chiropractic office to get people to start care. It is critical. People buy with their eyes. So you have to look right. You have to look like you're supposed to look with the Winner's Edge chiropractic uniform, or one of the variations of our chiropractic uniform of awesomeness. Very scientific. Then it's scripting. Saying the right words the right way at the right time. Tour script, consult script, explaining chiropractic script, the protocol and the smoothness for the complete exam, the script on how to explain why we take x-rays, then of course the script going over the problem, which we call the Insta report, then of course the script on how we explain how we're going to introduce chiropractic. We don't say, I'm going to adjust you for the first time. We just say, let me show you a few things. Let me get more of a feel for your spine, and then if you'd like, I'll be happy to put together a plan. See, I get them to tell me they want a report. I don't say tomorrow we'll go over it. I say, if you'd like, I'll be happy to put together a plan on how to get you shaped up. And they say, great. In other words, they just asked me to put together the plan. The wording is so critical. Every word counts. Every single word counts. Then, of course, we wrap up the day and we're very scripted on, you get this brochure and this brochure and this sheet and this sheet and that. And then, of course, we have a call by the doctor after their first adjustments, and there's a script for that. I just wanted to call and see how you're doing after we did a little work on your spine for the first time. You might report that you're the same. You might even be a little bit sore. That's okay. You might even be a little bit better. All of those are okay. There's the script. In other words, you see what I did? Whether they were sore, we got to quell that. They're the same or they're a little better. All of those are okay because they don't know what to think until you tell them. Then, of course, the script for the plan part of the report, where we draw a diagram. It was a diagram we draw during the report. It's quite genius. People want something graphic. They don't want to just hear words. And then we have the payment arrangement. Okay, so it's the problem, the plan, the payment arrangement. And we run those plays so well that they can't be defended, and practically everybody signs up for care. And every one of those little bite-sized things is simple. It's just 1 or 2 or 3 lines. Okay? These couple lines, this, it's simple because it's broken into a bunch of bite-sized pieces that are easy to memorize and use. And once you have them like I do, I can just go into practice and it's graceful and it's smooth and it's fun because I know what to say in practically every situation. Almost never am I caught off guard. And it makes the days and the weeks and the months and the years enjoyable. See, if you have a gymnastics routine that you didn't practice well enough, everybody's going to watch and see. If you play something out of tune, everybody's going to go, oh. How does the chiropractor get graded? Do you have people watching you through a video camera going, oh, and listening to what you say through a hidden microphone? No, they don't. We evaluate how you're doing with your stat sheet. We look at how many referrals you're getting, how many people are re-signing to continue care, how many visits you have, how many people want to come and see you every week, and of course, how much you're collecting per visit, because the more people like you, the more you end up collecting per visit. And of course, your case average. Okay, what's the average total dollar amount a human being pays in the course of their life in your office? Okay, we have a case average of $750. You could have a case average of $3,650. Guess which one of those 2 chiropractors has spent more time working on their scripting? Guess which one of those chiropractors has had more repetition? Guess which one of those chiropractors has volunteered to get better at what they do without someone to crack the whip? So you join a consulting group because you want accountability, you want to be around other people, you want that to motivate you, inspire you, test you, challenge you. You want to do the same thing for other people. There's so many things that could be said here. I've got so many stories that relate to this, but let me see if I can't sum this up. I practiced the guitar because I told myself I would try. And since I told myself I would try, I stick with it. We know that to be good at anything, sports, business, cooking, it's going to military, flying planes, it's going to take practice and repetition to the point of drudgery. I have recorded the report into a recorder and listened to it until I was sick of it, and I couldn't even handle hearing those words anymore. I've written it out so many times. I've got it nailed so much now. I could be out on the water. It could be dark. It could be in the rain. Okay, I could be starving and not have eaten. I could have a shark coming after me and still sit there and say, welcome back, John. Today's an incredibly important day. You're going to learn some things about your health that are going to be so valuable for you, not only now, but also in the future. Now, right away, okay, I've got it nailed in my mind. And so there's the key things we have to be good at. That office tour, the consult, explaining chiropractic, the exam, explaining x-ray, taking the x-rays, the instant report of the problem, explaining how our chiropractic works and doing some demonstrations so they feel comfortable and they like it when they leave, exactly what they take with them, exactly what we do and what we draw for the plan part of the report, exactly how we go over the payment arrangement, and that's a topic for another day. How do you explain what it costs? It's so easy the way we do it here. There's only 4 numbers you have to have. We call it the visit number, the number in the box, and then the other 2 numbers. There's only 4 numbers. And then in this sheet of paper. And it's so easy to get people signed up. But that's a scripted little system. You sit shoulder to shoulder, even where you sit next to the patient, side by side, elbow to elbow with the patient. When you go over the plan and the payment, you don't sit across from them. Okay, you're not standing when you do this. You're not across a desk. They're not sitting in a chair across a desk like you're trying to sell them a used car. We get right next to them, side by side. It's us against them, the big mean insurance companies and the evil forces trying to steal our health. It's your spatial relationships are critical. Where you sit for the consult, where they sit. Where you do the exam and where they are. Where you stand for this, where you do that, where you adjust. The spatial relationships, the consistency. See, we're talking about ultra high level chiropractic practice, success, and action. The chiropractor and chiropractic office that can collect $2 million a year. That's one DC in one office collecting $2 million, not $1 million. Anybody can collect $1 million practically. That's just average now, especially in Winter's Edge. We went way past the $1 million a year mark forever ago. But to do that requires more precision. Just like if you want to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have more precision. And you want to be a top fighter pilot or the captain of the jump squad for the U.S. Army, you're going to have done more repetition, 3,000 jumps, executed beautifully because you followed the protocol perfectly. So you are reliable and you can have predictable outcomes because of your preparation. So we take our chiropractic work so serious. It's more serious than football, isn't it? Is our chiropractic work more serious than a gymnastics routine? But look what they put in for practice before they perform. And of course, our chiropractic work is equally as important as what's happening with the jump squad and of course, the pilots. So let's take it seriously. You have to have the correct scripting for one, and then we make it very easy to learn it, and we have the techniques. I've got a very specific video on how to memorize stuff. It's so much fun, and it makes it so it's almost automatic to get it into your conscious and subconscious. So when you're in the office, it just flows beautifully, and people follow you, and you naturally grow to a new level of success. And that is the name of the game. We want to have everything be so good and so automatic that we automatically grow to new levels of success that matter for us, for our patients, and allow you to build the exceptional life. Tory out.